We love a good checklist, but if your habits are coming with shame, guilt, and self-punishment, they are not freaking helping you. So today, we are asking the real questions. How are you actually treating yourself while you're following through on the habits that you have for yourself? Welcome back to another episode of Gym Bag Confessions. My name is Anne Marie.
And I'm Rochelle. Today's episode might feel like a gentle slap in the face, but it's a loving one. If anybody tells you that, that's not really true. But in this instance, it is.
I slap you in the face because I love you. Oh my God.
Yeah, I do this.
That's
No,
toxicity.
let's not go there, Rochelle. Bad jokes. Bad jokes. Yeah, that's abuse. But this is like a verbal one. So, okay, no, that's also abuse. Okay, back on track. I know for myself, and I know I'm not alone, we're constantly asking ourselves, what more do I need to do to change my body? But maybe the question isn't like, what more, but like, how differently can I show up with more love, more compassion, more respect for myself? Because let's be honest, if you're tracking your macros, but you're hating yourself the whole way through, is that actually healthy? Methinks it's not. Methinks it's not. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the invisible stuff we don't track. We're going to do a mirror check. Not like we're not actually going to like stand in the mirror and check ourselves out, but what are your choices saying? We're going to check ourselves. What are our choices saying that we need to reflect on? And the real work is choosing self-respect over self-criticism, and what showing up with love could look like. Because I don't know if you're like me, but I'm very visual. Like, I think I even have a meltdown just yesterday to Anne Marie. What does this look like? I can't stand ambiguous things. It's like, let go, trust, forgive, have hope, have faith. hate I hate when somebody tells me that kind of stuff, because I'm like, but what does it look like? So we're going to talk about that.
Just don't ever tell Rochelle.
What does it mean? Unless you're going to come with 5 different various examples of what does that look like, then you can, okay?
Don't come at her. She's on one. Okay, here is our confession for the week. She says, I work out hard 6 days a week, but every time I look in the mirror, I pick myself apart and I call myself fat and call myself a loser for not looking like I think I should. We have all been there, Megan. That is just proof that how we believe we think we are, or the perception that we have of ourselves, is not necessarily attached to what we're actually doing. So you could be doing all the things right, but you can also be treating yourself like absolute shit. So they're two totally different things. Or we want to talk about like how can we actually improve the perception that we have of ourselves to seeing ourselves as like fucking amazing, and just increasing like our self-esteem, our self-confidence. And yeah, I hate when I say that. And yeah,
Things.
and yeah,
Yeah. And mine's gone blank.
and
Help me.
and
Yeah. I love that.
and it's the moment that I realized I had nothing else left to say.
My thought is gone. And it's the worst when it's like, it's not, maybe it wasn't even a
It was
complete
not.
thought.
It was not. Here we are.
No. All right. So today, yeah, I know, right? Today we're talking about how are you actually treating yourself. So first up is the invisible stuff that we don't track. So everybody's focusing on what they do. How many calories am I eating? How much protein am I getting? Did I do my workouts? Did I do my steps? Did I do my streaks? Now, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing to do. But we don't track what is it that we're saying to ourselves. Do you only feel good about yourself when you're being productive? When you're checking off all those things, when you're meeting all those things, not just checking them off, but you're actually like, I was on track. Is that the only time you feel good about yourself? And another follow-up question is, do you think you need to punish yourself in order to make
Yeah.
progress? So, just as important it is to track the tangibles that we're doing, is important to focus and pay attention and track how are we speaking to ourselves. And you can't hate yourself to get yourself to be the version of this
Yeah.
person you want to be. Because the version of the self that you want to be probably doesn't hate
No.
herself. So why do you think hating yourself, punishing yourself, berating yourself is going to
Yeah.
get you there? No, that's just going to take you
It's so
further
interesting
away.
because too, it's like imagine you did hate yourself essentially into submission, into being who you want to become. It's like, are you actually going to be happy when you get there? Like, no, probably not, because your brain is so wired to be so fucking negative,
Yeah.
and you're going to get there and be like, well,
Yeah.
I have this, I have that, but why am I not happy? And it's like, yeah, because you've literally just forced yourself into hating yourself to get there, that of course you're not going to like the outcome. So it's like maybe if we actually love and appreciate the journey
Yeah.
along the way, then you're going to appreciate the outcome so much fucking more when you actually get there. Whoa, whoa. We had another epiphany on this episode. That's fucking crazy.
I love epiphanies.
Okay.
Hold
I
on,
know
Anne
we
Marie's having a
are.
moment.
I am. That's fucking crazy. Like your brain is just habituated into thinking a certain way. So if you just keep thinking shame, guilt, punishment the whole way there, that's all you're going to be thinking when you get there, is that it's not good enough. Whereas if you change,
Yeah. Yeah, and there'll be that
yeah,
moment when you get there and you're like, why
yeah,
am I still not happy? Well,
yeah,
what did you
yeah,
do to get
yeah. Oh
there?
my God, that's crazy. Because I think about a moment that happened to me when I was like my absolute leanest and I was still fucking miserable and still hated my body. I'm like, but this is where I wanted to be. Why am I still not loving myself? And it's like, well, hello, you weren't loving yourself along the way
Yeah.
to get to where you are. So that imagine you'd love
Yeah.
yourself so intensely, you'd learn how to have so much compassion and grace with yourself, and actually learn to love all aspects of yourself, your personality, your quirks, your imperfect features. If you learn to love all those things, then you get to the end result and you're like, oh, I actually fucking love being here because you were so nice to yourself. And that's how your mind is programmed and getting there. That's really cool. Okay, I really like that. Or some of the questions that we wanted to ask you, our lovely audience, when we think about looking at ourselves, what are we saying? Okay, so we want to ask you, how do you speak to yourself when you mess up? Are you like, God, you're so fucking stupid. How could you not do that? How could you like just get it together? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, pushing yourself harder, forcing yourself into doing things, or are you speaking to yourself with like grace and kindness and being like, okay, I'm messed up today. I wonder why that happened. Okay, I can see where I probably could have done a little bit better. And, I'm proud of myself for showing up. I'm proud of myself for doing XYZ today and focusing on the things that you did do positively. And having an honest review with yourself. I think that you don't need to go into this like toxic positivity of like, I only ever did good things today, when you didn't do any of the commitments that you followed, like told yourself that you were going to do. But it's like having an honest review without shaming yourself and just looking at the data. You know what I mean? And the other thing that we wanted to ask you to think about is, how do you feed yourself? Is it like someone that you absolutely fucking love, or is it someone that you are really angry at? So I know for, yeah,
That's a question for me, eating the shit
yeah,
that's making me feel bad. So I'm not feeding myself like
yeah.
somebody I love.
Well, that's the thing. And I was talking to Soul about this, and I was like, it's so like talking about this imbalance that I've had, or like learning how to find more balance when I'm not working on like something specifically within my health. I was like, but I just like, I don't know what my motivation or what my goal would be. She's like, well, what about just loving yourself? And I was like, yeah, that is a very valid question. And I love that. But sometimes, but
But
sometimes she's like, no, there's no but. I was like, yeah, right. So I will ask myself that, like, if I really fucking deeply loved and appreciated myself so much, what are you gonna give give somebody? And I think about that for like, You know, when I get a dog, like that motherfucker is going to eat so well. Like, and he's definitely getting treats from time to time. Not going crazy on it, but he's definitely getting treats. He's definitely going to be eating the best food that there is. So it's like, why don't I just do that for myself? You know? And if I was mad at somebody, you're making the food and you're enraged. Maybe you love them, but you're making the food and you're angry about it. So the experience overall is just not an enjoyable experience, you know?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So the other thing that we can think about too is, are you working out to feel good or are you working out to shrink yourself? Are you chasing goals from love or from shame? We talk about this. I'm like, there's some areas I for sure need to clean up. And there's some areas where I'm like, oh, I've grown a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, I think that last one, are you chasing goals from love or from shame? I'm like, oh God.
yeah, that fucking hits, right?
Okay. Like things immediately sprung to my mind across different areas of my life. I'm like, okay, yeah, absolutely. I could inspect that a little bit more and like, let's clean that up. Not to say I have to change the goal,
The
but
energy
change the
behind it as
motivation
well.
behind the goal and really like get to
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Cool. I love those questions. So I hope everybody take a moment to like reflect on those and like really be honest with yourself because that's how you can, you know, progress, work through it, clean it up so you can actually like start the process of really treating yourself with respect. Because, you know, that's the real work. That's the next part where we want to talk about is choosing self-respect over self-criticism. You know, maybe, and then this is definitely for me to hear. I'm talking to myself too. Is like maybe what I don't need is more discipline. It's more grace.
What does that look like to you?
And I love this.
Like more
What
grace
does
for
that
you
look like to
specifically?
me? I think for me, that would be being kinder to myself. It would be, I think it really would be kindness and like how I'm like, so when I think about like when do I need grace, it would be like when I'm not showing up, quote, perfectly, or I mess up, or I don't do something that I said I would do. So in those instances, it would be like, looking at it from a lens of, okay, well, why did that happen? Like, why didn't you show up for yourself in that moment? You said you were going to go work out. Why didn't you? And but like not like, why didn't you clean your room? You know, not in that mom angry parent way. Like, why did you lie? Why did you take that cookie? You know, like, but like, why did you?
Yeah.
What happened? What was going on there? And then give myself some compassion and kindness. So maybe actually, you know, maybe in some instances I needed to set that workout down and it was the better choice for me to not do it. Maybe it's like, okay, you could have worked out. Next time this occurs, let's work out instead, you know, and then remind myself if I have to tell myself, I have to coach myself through it, be like, remind myself all the things of like, you're not failing, you're doing a good job, you're doing your best. This matters, it all counts, you're enough, this is enough. Reminding myself of those things where I can get in my head about and like hype myself up as if this was like somebody else that I would be hyping up and reminding of like, no, you're doing amazing. You're not failing. It's okay to make mistakes. That's how you learn. I would be
Hmm.
saying those things to
I
myself.
think it's like as you were saying that, I was like, oh, it's so interesting to like this analogy. Like, let's say it's the teacher, right? You have two different teachers. One teacher is like, this kid spells the word wrong. And the teacher comes over and is like, what's wrong with you? We've spelled this so many times on the board. Why can't you just figure it out? Like, what's so hard? Are you not practicing your
Mm-hmm.
spelling at home? Are you like, are your parents not helping you with it? Or you're not even trying. And then you have the other teacher who comes over and
Mm-hmm.
is really curious. And this teacher goes, hey, I noticed you spelled this word wrong. We did cover it a couple times in class. Like, what are you struggling with in particular about spelling this word right? You know, how can we help you remember how to spell
Mm-hmm.
this word right? Do we need to add colors? Do we need to add,
Mm.
you know, do we need to make this more fun for you? Do we need to make this more exciting? Like, how can we as a team
Mm-hmm.
make it easier for you to spell this word properly? Think about the two
Mm.
kids. The one kid is
Yeah.
like totally just gonna fucking break down and is like in fear. And when you try and change somebody from fear, that kid is just
Mm-hmm.
fucking terrified. And then that kid starts to get anxiety going to class because he's like, oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble. What if I make a mistake? Whereas the other kid who's coming to school, he's like, I'm so supported by my
Yeah.
teacher. Okay, if I don't get it right, it's okay. I have the opportunity to try. And I know
Mm-hmm.
my teacher's going to be there and she's going to help me figure it out. You know? Okay, maybe it was the spelling homework
Mm-hmm.
that I was supposed to do, but I never did it. So I need to go to class next time because I want to learn to be better. Like, of course, that kid's not going to be perfect. There's going to be times when he still doesn't do his fucking homework and still goes to class, and the teacher's like, okay, cool. What do we need to do? Like, do you need to stay after class and we can do your homework together? Or, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So it's like in those two,
That's a beautiful
Mhm.
analogy. I
Yeah, there's
love
like,
that.
I think there's changing yourself from fear and criticism and changing yourself from leadership and empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about that a lot because I know for myself, it's like
Yeah.
through leadership is where I thrive and where I flourish rather
Mm.
than like in fear.
Wow, that was really good. I got nothing to contribute, but like, wow, my brain's like going. I love that. I love the you use the word leadership because I forget about that. I think you've talked to me about that
In a different
before,
context. Yeah.
like a year ago or something. Right. In a different context, you were talking about leadership, leading yourself, and I'm like, holy shit! Like it just kind of sparked some sparkies in my brain cells. I'm like, I really want to explore that. Like, oh, hold on. Okay, pause. I got some thinking to do right now. I love that. Okay, I love the analogy because it really like landed. There were so many like good juicy nuggets in there as far as like the examples of like even the teacher going, what color do we need in colors? And I'm like, yeah, or a song, or do you need to like sound it out? I'm like thinking through like problem solving, and I'm like, Rochelle, before you get lost in the spelling world, like that's exactly what it is. And then you say the word leadership, and it's like, yes, that's exactly what it is. You're leading yourself through the problem, the challenge, to the solution. You're leading yourself, and you put it in conjunction with empowerment of like, you're in charge, you can create the reality you want, and you can lead yourself through whatever comes your way if you choose to lead yourself as that kind and loving teacher. But if you're going to try to do it through this, what the fuck is wrong with you? We've done this a million times. What the hell? Why can't you get this right? You're not doing this. You're not doing this. You're not doing this. This is limiting you. You're not, what are you, where, you're not leading yourself. That's not empowering yourself.
And it's also
Oh,
like it's
anyway.
also too
Wow.
like
I
if you
love
think
it.
about it, a good teacher, the teacher who's like shaming and fearing into change would bring the parents in and be like, what the fuck is wrong? Why aren't you guys helping him? What are you doing at home? Like I can't figure
Mm-hmm.
like this makes no sense and just like not being inquisitive but just placing all this
Mm-hmm.
blame on the parents. And it's like the other teacher
Mm-hmm.
is going to be like, hey, I've noticed Jimmy is struggling with his spelling. Is there anything that's going on at home
Mm-hmm.
that might be impacting his learning right now? Like, such a different fucking experience rather
Mm-hmm.
than just like the blame and the shame.
Yeah.
Because maybe those parents are going through a really messy, difficult divorce, or one of them just lost their parents and they're having a hard time with it. And so it's like, well, of
Mm-hmm.
course, Jimmy's having a hard time fucking spelling because he's got other shit going on at home right now. So it's like, the same thing with
Absolutely.
life. Like
Absolutely.
when shit happens, you can't expect yourself that you're gonna be operating at fucking 500%.
Absolutely. And I love this thought of like that shame might light
Yeah.
a fire under you, but compassion keeps that burning without
Yeah. Yeah.
burning you
Yeah.
out. And I've struggled with the idea of like if I'm like nice to myself, if I'm kind to myself, if I give myself grace and give myself like, oh, it's okay, you needed that rest. Like I feel like it's um being too weak or too soft or like not pushing myself or not like like being like, oh, too milk toast about it. Like if I like sometimes I confuse like that grace with like, well, then I'm not really pushing myself hard, but
But I
that's
think it
not
comes
the
down
case
to
at
like
all.
everybody
It's
is a little bit different individually, and it's knowing your program. Like your program is like driving yourself into the ground. So for you, you actually need to like ease up a little bit, right? Then there's other people who are like just so
Mm-hmm.
airy fairy. They're like, oh, I'm gonna rest, and then they never go to the gym. Like that person needs more discipline, and they need more like a kick in the ass. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And they need more structure. So it's like I think it's just having the awareness of like where you are, what your patterns are, the way that you tend to go, and like of course it's going to be uncomfortable giving yourself a little
Mm.
bit more grace or like giving yourself permission to rest because that's not like your default program, if you know what I mean. Like your default program is not balance. Your
Yeah.
default program
Yeah,
is like
totally.
grind. So it's like if you want to have more balance, then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's going to feel like you're doing less and being like not as disciplined, right?
Yeah. So I got to change my mind around
Yeah. Yeah.
that. Like doing
Yeah.
less
Yeah.
is good.
Exactly. Okay, that leads us into our next point. What showing up with love can actually look
Hmm.
like. So I think we've talked a lot about this analogy of the teacher and student really well, which has been super helpful for me as
Mm.
well. And just thinking of yourself in that context. Like, what are you giving yourself right now? Are you giving yourself the mean teacher or are you giving yourself the leading teacher,
Mm-hmm.
the teacher who leads their students?
Mm.
And so you can
Yeah.
take a moment to take inventory. Some of the things that I like to do with intention is like I'll journal for myself, or it's reading instead of watching TV for the last moment till when I go to bed. It's, in the week where
Mm.
my ego was telling me I needed to work out and my body was literally like, bitch, fucking rest. Like I actually started going to the gym and I was like eating my
Yeah.
pre-workout meal and I was like, I don't feel that good. I ate my pre-workout meal. I started going to the gym and I was like, just get in the gym and just start. You're going to feel better. And I was like, no, my body is literally telling me I'm fatigued right now. Like just fucking listen to it. Just go home. And
Yeah.
so I was like, in that
Yeah.
moment giving myself what I needed. And that to me was self-love, even though my ego was telling me to go work out. So I think too, like when I got back into the gym, it's like when you're pushing heavy weight or you're doing something or you're lifting, it's like instead of being like, I have to do this so that I grow these muscles for my physique to change, it's like I'm doing this to show myself how fucking strong I am
Mm-hmm.
and that I'm 100 times stronger than I think I am. And you're going to surprise yourself all the time. So it's like just shifting the energy. It's being mindful of like where your negative thoughts are.
Mm-hmm.
It's choosing to be proud of yourself even on your worst fucking days when you feel like there's nothing to be proud of yourself for. Self-love is going to sleep early because you're too emotional or exhausted. It's writing a thank you letter to your body, which I've done has been so amazing. I actually used chat to help me with that too, and it got so deep. It was so
Mm-hmm.
nice.
You
Yeah,
had chat write
to
a
my
thank you
body.
letter to yourself. Write me a thank
No,
you
I
letter,
started it
chat.
okay, and then I was like, give me some other things to be grateful for my body. And it was actually really write me a thank you letter to my body from you. It was really funny.
I don't think you can have chat do your journaling
I
for
got
you, Anne
halfway
Marie.
there and then I was like, there's more. Teach me, chat. You bodiless human. No, you bodiless robot. Teach me about loving my body.
You bodiless human.
Robot,
Whoa.
robot.
Yeah.
Honestly, chat got fucking real deep with me.
Now maybe I'll have chat
Oh,
write me love
oh my
letters every
God.
day.
I
Chat,
love
write
that.
me a letter telling me how
Literally.
amazing I
Like,
am
hello. It's
every
great.
day.
Yeah. And it was like, it gave me different perspectives. So start your own love letter to yourself and then get chat to enhance it. Okay? Enhancement. This is so
I
funny.
love it so much.
What would you add to
Oh,
that,
that's
like
great.
in terms of like showing your self-love? Do you have any examples?
Some of the things that I've noticed, like when I do things out of love, is uh, changing my thought around why I'm doing it. Like, like I love the example that you gave of like reading instead of watching TV. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh, instead of saying, oh, I should read right now, it's like, oh, I would love to like, I want to learn about this. I want to give myself the chance to um, up level myself in this other area. So maybe I want to choose to spend my time differently. Like maybe there's a better way I could spend my time rather than I should changing it and being like, oh no, this would be a great opportunity for me to do
Yeah.
XYZ instead. Or when I go to the gym, instead of going, when I think about going to the gym and it's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to like see how much weight I can push today. Or like I'm excited for the like different reasons. It's not like, oh, I want to get that fucking, it's like I don't have this like sometimes I don't know if it's just me. Like sometimes I have like this mental image of what I'm trying to look like as I'm going to the gym or as I go to the gym, of like, this is what I want my body to like start looking like. And instead, when I change, like my motivation to going to the gym is like, I want to like see how much weight I can push. I want to see how many reps I can do. I want to walk around. I want to feel stronger, or like, or even like, oh, I want to look like, I want to stand there and be like, somebody be like, oh shit, this girl could kick my fucking ass. Like where it's not, it's like different. The motivation is different. I'm still going to the gym. I'm still doing the same action. But for me, a lot of it is like how my
Yeah.
thoughts are about it. And so that's like the way I've been able to show myself some really good love, is because I think for me, what I need to clean up the most is like my thinking and my motivation behind things. Um, so thinking about, oh, I want to eat this. I'm not going to eat this freaking cupcake because it really does make me feel like crap. I'd rather eat this because I feel really good when I have this. Um, and recognizing things like, because I've noticed like for breakfast, like I actually feel really good if I have
Oh,
chicken for
cool.
breakfast. Like even if I have other foods or whatever, it's like my body, if I have chicken in the morning, like my body's like, oh
Oh, that's
fuck yeah,
cool.
let's go. And so noticing, recognizing those things and being like, okay, I'm gonna find ways I can have chicken for
Yeah,
breakfast
that's
more
cool.
often. So um, so those are like some addition things. You've said a lot of the things that I would think of as well, but um,
There's
so
like an endless
yeah,
list of things that you could do for yourself.
cool. Yeah, there is. Yeah, I think that's a good idea to like write some stuff down as ideas too, like
Yeah.
kind of get your brain going. That was an eye roll.
Yeah.
That was my yeah
And
moment.
and yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've got a good She's Making Gains highlight today. Chelsea, she said she missed her macro target all week and almost spiraled, but instead she went for a walk, danced around her kitchen. I love a good dance party, and reminded herself that she's doing her best. That's totally
That
that's
is.
totally a win. That's totally the shift. Because I mean, I don't. There's nothing I can add to that because Chelsea said it all.
Man. Okay. So, the main takeaways that we want you to have this week, one of them is how you treat yourself matters more than what you're doing. Okay? The energy that you're carrying yourself with is so fucking important because we want to get to the end destination and be so dang happy with how we've taught ourselves to treat ourselves. So, if we're thinking that we're going to treat ourselves so shitty and negatively the whole time, and then we're going to get to the end destination and miraculously feel amazing, it's not how it's going to work. Whereas if we teach ourselves along the way how to love ourselves, how to appreciate ourselves, that when we get to the quote unquote end destination, whatever the fuck that is, we're going to realize we've already taught ourselves how to love, how to appreciate ourselves exactly where we are.
Absolutely. And like the real change, it's not the new app, it's not the stricter routine, it's not more discipline. It's speaking to yourself with the kind of respect that you give everybody else. I'm just going to skip that last one.
Okay, so we want you to
you're the
like and
CTA.
subscribe. If you're following us on YouTube, if you're following us on a podcast, please follow us on there. It takes 2 seconds. And don't forget to answer this today. How am I treating myself right now? So make sure you send us our gains, your confessions. They're all linked in the comment section below. And we want to celebrate those things, whether they're PRs, weight loss, or just the small win that we shared today from Chelsea. And if you haven't already, make sure you join our Hot Girl Challenge. And if you're in the group already, make sure that you post one thing that you did for yourself. So we are here cheering you on, and we'll see you next episode.